Hello, I'm going to describe two time intervals associated with the provision of terminal augmented feedback. I will also describe how their lengths and how activity during each interval influences skill learning. The two intervals are KR delay and post KR interval. And KR is knowledge of results, that is, augmented feedback of the attempt on a skill. KR delay is the time after the movement or completion of the skill and the time of the augmented feedback. Post-KR interval is the time after the feedback and the next movement or skill attempt. As an example, I will use an attempt at a goal by a striker in soccer. The augmented feedback is coming from the coach and a video setup. So the striker attempts a shot on goal while running and misses. At this point, this is the beginning of the KR delay. The striker feels like he did it right, but he still missed. The coach watches the video and sees that the angle of attack is wrong. So the coach tells the player what he saw and adjusts the angle of the player's next kick. This is the end of the KR delay and the beginning of the KR interval. The player thinks about the angle and remembers how the kick was placed. The player sets up, the play begins, and the player applies the adjusted angle and kicks the ball, and it goes in. Whether it goes in or not, at that point of the kick, it is the end of the post-KR interval. During the time of the KR delay, the length of the delay is on an as-need basis. Short KR delay was shown more beneficial in animal studies. People still benefit from the augmented feedback regardless of when they receive it. Activity during the KR delay more commonly shows that there is no effect on learning. If activity is hindered during the KR delay, there are likely two reasons. The first reason would be that the learner is learning another skill that uses the same learning processes. The second likely reason is estimating the movement time error of another person. From my understanding, this means that watching other people attempt a sequence of motions in a skill during the KR delay hinders learning rather than those who do something else or do nothing. For the post-KR interval, that is the time after the augmented feedback, but before this next skill attempt, the length from the input of augmented feedback and the next skill attempt cannot be immediate. There needs to be enough time for the athlete to process the information and create a plan of action. The time should be quick, especially for those with elite skills. There is no upper limit, nor is there an optimal time for the length of the post-KR interval. Effects of activity during the post-KR interval is similar to the KR delay in that there is more common findings of activity during post-KR interval not affecting learning. There are some cases where certain activities can hinder or benefit learning process.